Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Mike Konopka here for your Friday morning update. We have a lot to talk about, especially coming up into next week. So we'll dive right in. Up until then, we have a little system moving through Saturday night into Sunday. For us here in central New Jersey, we're not going to get too much in the way of snow. You can see here the rain snow line is right around the I-195 corridor. So anything south of this is really going to be rain for the majority of the event. Anything north of that, you will start at snow. Northern Jersey, northeast Pennsylvania, southern New England, southern New York. And then eventually you will turn over to some freezing rain and sleet, kind of a Mod Podge wintry mix. And that will continue up through Sunday night. The only people that are really going to get snow are the people in the higher elevations here in southern Vermont, New Hampshire, and then the Adirondacks, northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and Maine is going to be pretty much all snow. But other than that, you're going to have a kind of a wintry mix here, a lot of ice, a lot of sleet, a lot of freezing rain. So just be careful if you're traveling up that way. And again, anything south of that I-195, Pennsylvania Turnpike type of line, anything south of that will be rain for the majority of the event. So we can expect some rain Saturday night into Sunday, and then the system will clear by late Sunday night, early Monday morning, some lingering showers possibly, but for the most part we'll be clear on Monday. And then we move into the next system, which you'll see start to come into the bottom of your screen here. Wednesday into Thursday, and that's really what this video is about, and talking about this system as it progresses and moves northeast and the effects it can have up here in the northeast. So let's take a look real quick. We'll start with the GFS, and I'll rewind a little bit, but you can see that the GFS model at this time has us at a pretty significant snowfall. It's a classic nor'easter. We have the low off the coast, bringing that energy in from the ocean and the moisture. We have cold air in place. So after this system, this upcoming weekend is going to move on out. We do have a little bit of a trough coming in from the Arctic, which will bring us some cold air. And that cold air will be in place up until this system arrives next week. So when this system arrives, we should be all frozen precipitation, snow, very little sleet, very little freezing rain, but we should be mostly snow. So our snowfall totals, if this storm comes to fruition, could be significant because there's no changeover, there's no mix, and it's going to be mostly snow. So this is again, our classic nor'easter, and there's some differences in between the timing of this model versus the Euro versus the Canadian. And I'm just going to show you those. So the signal is here for the storm, which is something I'll talk about as we go on, which is very important. But the timing of it and the intensity of it still kind of remains to be seen. The timing is more uncertain than the intensity. It looks like this is going to be a pretty well put together storm, a nor'easter, classic nor'easter, bring us some significant precipitation, hopefully in the form of snow, not ice or freezing rain. But again, the timing of it is still a little off. So here we have the Euro, and this is a GFS, and this brings our storm not as close to the coast as some of the other models do, and is also, this one is a little bit quicker too. So this is Thursday night at 7 p.m., we have our low center up here just southeast of Boston a little bit. Okay. A little bit more of a quicker moving storm. Now let's take a look at the Euro. Same time frame. So this still shot at 7 p.m. on Thursday night. And you can see the difference between the two models. The GFS is much further along than the Euro is. All right, I'll rewind the Euro a little bit as well. And again, you can see the Euro has an enormous amount of energy, keeps everybody in the cold air, so all the precipitation is in the form of snow. We can compare the two times again. This is going to be 1 p.m. on Thursday, and you can just take a look at the difference between the low center in the Euro, which is here, again off the coast of the eastern shore of Maryland. And then the GFS at the same time has us further north off the coast, further off the coast of southern New Jersey. So the timing of it is still very uncertain at this moment, but we'll keep an eye on that as we go on. And then we have the Canadian model, and this is the slower moving of all three I'm talking about today. This is at 7 p.m. on Thursday night, and you can, again, compare that to the GFS, which is going to be there. That's the GFS, and then that's the Canadian. But again, what you see here in all three models, you have cold air, you have a classic nor'easter setup, bringing energy and moisture in from the Atlantic Ocean, which are some of the ingredients that we need for a major snowstorm event in the Northeast. So this is showing the signal that we're going to have a decent storm next week. Now, again, there's a lot of time between now and then. Things can change drastically. A lot of times we show you these videos 5-6 days out, and then the next model run, it goes away and completely disappears, right? So that's something I want to touch upon as well. Let's take a look real quick at some of our snowfall rates, going back to the GFS. Those are pretty high numbers there for the Northeast, New Jersey, Long Island, Southern New England, Connecticut, Rhode Island, the Cape. You're looking at 12 to 18 inches of snow along this swath here, which we've seen in the past with these types of storms. But we'll see what happens here. We'll go jump to the Euro. And the Euro, again, has that swath a little bit further south, which is kind of what the trend has been this year so far. Northern Virginia, Maryland, Southern New Jersey, but you still have a very, very significant amount of snow here. You know, you're talking about, again, over a foot on the Jersey Shore. And then if you take a look at the Canadian model, kind of lines up better with the with the GFS, where you have this along I-95, DC, Philly, New Jersey, New York, all the way up to Boston. So you have this signal and these snowfall forecasts, and they all kind of line up. You know, it's not exact, it's not perfect yet, but the signal is there around the same time, around the same location, and this is something that we have not seen with the previous storms. One model would have it, like for example the GFS, and then the Euro wouldn't show it. And then the Euro would slowly come back to it, but maybe in a different location and less intensity, right? So what I want to show you now is just going back in time, the previous model runs that each one of these models have shown. And a lot of times, like I said before, the model run would show it, and then the very next model run, 6 hours later, it would be completely blank with no type of an event. And then the one after that, 6 hours after that one, it would come back again. So it would kind of flip-flop. This is, in my opinion, significant because what I'll show you here is that every single model run over the last 24 hours has shown this event. Again, the timing of it, the intensity of it hasn't been lining up precisely, but the signal is there for an event. The ingredients are there, and the models are showing it. Okay, so here is our current GFS model run. I'm going to go back 6 hours. This is the previous GFS model run. Again, doesn't line up completely to what was now, the current one. But again, the signal is there for a very big event. This one kind of slams Massachusetts, Boston. You're looking at 40 inches. That's not going to happen. But the signal is there for a significant snowfall. If I go to the one that was the GFS from 12 hours ago. Again, completely different location, but again, the signal is still there around the same time. I'm not changing our time here, right? So this is our snowfall totals late Thursday night. So here, it just brings that signal further south, but again, you're still looking at over a foot of snow. And then the GFS from 24 hours ago had it further off the coast. But in each one of these, you have a significant event that the models are picking up on. And that means that the ingredients are there, the models see it. And this is just a GFS. And let me go to the Euro. This is the current Euro run. Okay, again, 16 or so inches of snow here in southern New Jersey, central. I go back 12 hours ago to the previous Euro run. Not as intense, but it's still there. Not as intense, but it's still there. I go take a look at the Canadian. This is the current Canadian model run. I go back 12 hours ago. It's still there. Again, not as intense, but in all of these models, at the last 12, 24 hours they've been running, they're picking up on this signal. And this is something that we haven't seen yet this year from our computer models. That leads me to believe that the models are picking up on the dynamics in the atmosphere, and it's something to keep a very, very close eye on. The potential to have a significant snowfall event, a foot plus of snow going into next week is slowly increasing by the minute. We'll keep an eye on these computer models as each one of them are run. We'll give you updates on our socials, so stay tuned. And we're gonna sign off here. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us on social media or our email, mfkweather@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys soon. Don't forget, the weather is the weather. Only hope it gets better. See you next time.